Kamaal the Abstract. Kamaal the Abstract is the third studio album by American hip-hop artist Q-Tip, released September 15, 2009 on Battery Records. Recorded in 2001, the album is a departure from his solo debut album Amplified 1999. Kamaal the Abstract is an eclectic album that features Q-Tip rapping, singing, and exploring his jazz influences. The album contains introspective and life-related lyrical themes. The album was originally planned for release in 2002 as the follow-up to Amplified. However, it was shelved by Q-Tip's record label at the time, Arista, who doubted its commercial potential. It eventually leaked onto the internet, while the distribution of promotional copies led several publications to run reviews of the album. After its official release in 2009, the album debuted at number 77 on the US Billboard 200 chart, selling 6,000 copies in its first week. Upon its release, Kamaal the Abstract received positive reviews from most music critics. Music. An eclectic album, Kamaal the Abstract serves as a departure from Q-Tip's debut album Amplified 1999, which is more mainstream-oriented in its style and production approach. The album has Q-Tip rapping, singing, and exploring his jazz influences. While it contains elements of hip-hop, pop, and rock music, the album's improvisational sound is generally rooted in jazz and funk. The album's songs mostly feature loose arrangements that provide space for improvisation. Its instrumentation is characterized by electric piano, flute playing, deep organs, guitar-fueled grooves, and improvised solos. On its musical style, music critic John Bush wrote that Kamaal the Abstract pays homage the last gasp of organically produced mainstream pop in the 70s and 80s, paying a large compliment to Prince and Stevie Wonder. The album has been compared by writers to soul and funk-oriented albums such as D'Angelo's Voodoo 2000, Andre 3000's The Love Below 2003, and Prince's Musicology 2004, as well as the hip-hop/neo-soul work of the Soulquarians Collective. In his book To the Break of Dawn, a freestyle on the hip-hop aesthetic 2007, music writer William Jelani Cobb cited Kamaal the Abstract, along with The Roots Phrenology 2002, Mos Def's Black on Both Sides 1999, Common's Electric Circus 2002, and the work of Jill Scott and Erykah Badu as a genre-bending effort at musical expansion of hip-hop. Lyrics. Kamaal the Abstract contains introspective lyrical themes. Opening with the album's only rock chord, the opening track Feelin' It is one of the album's few tracks with him rapping, and it contains one verse about common life experiences and hassles. It introduces Q-Tip on his way to a recording studio, / the little kitten was me, not that one in the tree / the black one with the promise and the wish to be free. The lyrics are based on an experience that Q-Tip had with a policeman. John Murph of Jazz Times interpreted the song's verse as a metaphor for Q-Tip's struggles for absolute creative freedom without resulting in critical backlash. Tiny Mixtapes' Brendan Mahoney interpreted the profilin' cop in the song as another mundane and too predictable distraction in a world full of them. Songs such as Blue Girl and Heels demonstrate Q-Tip's female-identified perspective on Kamaal the Abstract. Do You Dig You has philosophically minded lyrics that deal with existential detachment. Barely in Love concerns the powerful nature of love with lyrics about two lovers that are together based on physical attraction. The album's closing track, Even If It Is So, is an ode to single parenting and discusses a hard-working mother. Release and promotion. Q-Tip began recording for the album after being signed to Arista Records by record executive Clive Davis. However, he was left to lobby the progressive project to Arista's new administration after Davis left the label. Originally scheduled for an October 23, 2001 release date, and later pushed back to April 23, 2002, the album was shelved by Arista, doubting its commercial potential. It was originally set to be released with the title Abstractions, which served as the title for the album's promo LP 2001. Q-Tip later said in an interview for The Village Voice, "Well, I was on Arista, and I was there with Clive Davis. They were about to kick him out of Arista, and he called me and was like, 'Q-Tip, you need to come to J Records. I have an artist by the name of Alicia Keys, and you and her would just be great.' And I really wanted to go there because I thought Clive was a visionary. He definitely is. I was telling him about the band I wanted to do and stuff like that. And then Liar Cohen, who runs Atlantic, you need to fuck with L.A. Reid. So me listening to some stuff that I thought was sage advice, I did that, stuck with L.A. I did an album, Kamaal the Abstract, and he dug it. It went out to press. People were really liking it. It was, at the time, some other shit, and I guess he just got cold feet." Q-Tip was upset over the album's shelving and felt that although Reid did not know how to market it, his label released Outkast's Speakerbox / The Love Below in 2003. Those are the kinds of sounds that are on Kamaal the Abstract. Maybe even a little more out than Outkast. Kamaal was just me, guerrilla. While it did not receive an official release, advanced promotional copies made their way into the public, leaking to the internet. In 2006, Q-Tip announced that he was in negotiations to regain control of the album from Arista/BMG and planned on officially releasing it in 2007. On July 1, 2009, Jive Records announced that it would release the album through its Battery imprint. The US compact disc release was issued with the bonus track Make It Work, and the double LP release was That Song and Damn You're Cool. Fairly in Love was released on September 1, 2009, as the album's first single. Kamaal the Abstract subsequently debuted at number 77 on the US Billboard 200 chart, selling 6,000 copies in its first week. It also peaked at number 32 on the top R&B/hip-hop albums, at number 12 on the independent albums, and at number 17 on the top rap albums chart. Critical reception. Kamaal the Abstract received generally positive reviews from music critics. At Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 to reviews from mainstream critics, the album received an average score of 78, based on 13 reviews. Amid Kamaal the Abstract's original planned release, promotional copies had been distributed and several publications ran reviews of the album. AllMusic writer John Bush considered it superior to Q-Tip's debut album Amplified. Slant magazine editor Sal Cinquemani called the album a genre-defying blend of new jazz, 70s soul, rock, and funk. Despite writing that it does not reach its potential, Karen R. Good of Vibe perceived it as a progression from Amplified and described it as closer to the rooted, love-sexy album We, the People, expect from the musicologist. Entertainment Weekly's David Brown called the album one of the most head-scratching albums ever made by a prominent rapper, commenting that it feels like a worthy experiment abandoned halfway through. It doesn't end so much as nod off. Nathan Rabin of the AV Club wrote that the album sounds like the sort of disc that gets rappers released from their contracts. It's invigorating to listen to a relaxed and playful Q-Tip follow his muse ever further off the beaten path. Blender complimented Q-Tip's musicianship and gave the album 4 out of 5 stars. The New Zealand Herald gave the album 4 out of 4 stars upon its 2009 release, noting that Q-Tip came up with something timeless then and 9 years on it sounds fresh, inventive, and cosmic. However, Robert Christgau named it Dud of the Month in his Consumer Guide for MSN Music, in which he wrote that most of the tracks are musically incomplete, and in the narrow sense of rhythm tracks, the beats have some ass to them, but as music they revert to fusion kitsch whenever the artiste sees an opening. Pitchfork critic David Drake commented that Kamaal the Abstract is not a great record by any means, but it is an interesting one, a unique effort by an artist struggling to mesh jazz and hip-hop, viewing that each track is a loose framework of unfulfilled promise. William Grant of Drowned in Sound viewed that it seems a bit aimless at times, but ultimately praised its diverse sound and gave it an 8 out of 10 rating. Dave Heaton of Pop Matters commented that the album is mainly about feeling. There's no storytelling meat to the songs, less wit, not much of Q-Tip's creative approach to language. It's mostly about riding the groove, and that Q-Tip does well. Track listing. All tracks were produced by Q-Tip. Personnel. Credits for Kamaal the Abstract adapted from liner notes. Vic Anasini material. Jonathan Blake drums. Danny Clinch photography. Kamaal Farid Q-Tip synthesizer, bass, drums, keyboards, vocals background, bells, clapping, drum programming, drum overdubs, mini moog, Guyora Katz bass, guitar, piano, guitar rhythm, vocals background, clavinet, Fender Rhodes. Aisha Morris vocals. Kenny Garrett alto saxophone. Kirk Rosenwinkel guitar, guitar rhythm, keyboards. Chris Schaller guitar, guitar rhythm, vocals background, soloist. Kelvin Schaller organ, synthesizer, piano, Fender Rhodes, soloist. Son Singleton vocals. Steve Souter mixing. Denise Trorman art direction, design. Charts.